Hello and welcome to Wisdom Trek. This is Guthrie Chamberlain and I am your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 7-day-a-week 7 Minutes of Wisdom podcast. This is day 84 of our trek. Yesterday and today we are stopping by 10 clearings on our trail and studying the practical applications for our lives in order to gain the wisdom and incorporate the discernment needed to know when to speak and when not to. To let you in on a little secret though, when it comes to talking, less is more. When it is necessary to speak, what you say and how you say it are also very important. We are recording our podcast from our studio in the big house in Marietta, Ohio. We had a very pleasant trip driving up today. The weather was nice and the traffic was not too heavy. As I'm creating this journal for this podcast, Paula is driving, which allows me to take advantage of the time when we are in the car. We will switch off about the halfway point so that I can drive the rest of the way. We met Paula's sister Lois on our way up, and Mom Jarvis will be spending a couple weeks with her. Paula and I have several day trips planned for this next week, as it is our 36th wedding anniversary week. We're looking forward to a little time away from our usual workload and routine to enjoy some focused time together. Yesterday on our trek, we came to an understanding of just how difficult it is to control our tongue. As mentioned in James chapter 3, verses 7 and 8, all kinds of animals, birds, reptiles, and sea creatures are being tamed and have been tamed by mankind. But no human being can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil full of deadly poison. Now it has been over 2,000 years since this was written, and we still have not come up with an effective way to tame our tongue. As part of our trek, we are focusing on the 10 waypoints or clearings along our way that will at least help us to minimize the potential negative impact that our tongue may have on us. Unless you're a ventriloquist, it all boils down to the fact that we need to think before opening our mouth to speak. We will continue now with clearing number 3 today, and for each of these points we need to know to say, keep your mouth shut when. Clearing number 3, when you want to gossip. When you want to say something negative about somebody behind their backs, don't. Just don't. There is almost never a good reason to do this. It makes you look petty, childish, and mean-spirited. It might get back to the person you're slandering. Never gossip. And if somebody does something truly terrible that will significantly harm someone or an organization, you might need to discuss it. If you are in an appropriate position, discuss it with the person privately. And if it is unresolved, then discuss it with the appropriate persons that need to know and decide what course of action to take. But this last option is actually very rare. Clearing number 4, when the details of your plan or deal are not complete yet. Look to the old adage, never count your chickens before they've hatched, or a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. If you're making plans for some big activity or making a deal of some kind, never announce it until the crucial details are worked out or the paperwork is completed. Otherwise, you'll feel embarrassed and stupid if things fall through. Clearing number 5, when you're mad or upset at a person or situation. When someone annoys you, don't respond right away, as you are likely to blow up and say something that you'll soon regret. A word spoken cannot be unspoken. Even if you apologize, people will not forget. You are weak when you're angry. Don't act in a moment of weakness. Even if they are wrong and you are right, you won't come out of it looking good. Clearing number 6, when you've had too much to drink. While I do not drink alcohol myself, I know that most people do. It's really hard to keep your mouth shut when you're drunk. Even small amounts of alcohol lowers our inhibitions, and you're far more likely to say something inappropriate when you've had a little bit too much to drink. If you are drinking, be aware of how it affects you. If you are able to keep quiet after a few drinks, do so, or cut yourself off before you get to the point of brutal honesty. It is hard enough to control your tongue when you are sober. Be very careful when you're drinking. Clearing number 7, when you're about to ask a question that is really not a question. Now, if you're at a gathering or meeting and you feel like you have to interject into the conversation, tell some story of your past, or ask a question that does not add to the conversation, be very careful. So many times we try to shift the focus to ourselves instead of allowing others to speak. Clearing number 8, when you're about to complain. If you're getting ready to speak, check yourself to see if you're about to complain about something. You might say, oh, it's too hot. I have too much to do. Oh, something smells. That person is mean or stupid. All of these may be true, but keep them to yourself. Nobody likes a whiner. If you must speak, look for only positive things to speak about. Clearing number 9, when someone else is being a jerk. When someone else is being stupid, rude, belligerent, or just an idiot in some other way, just let them. Don't call them out, get mad, insult, or embarrass them. First, they could be just having a really bad day and you just don't know what's bothering them. Or they just don't know how to handle themselves in a particular situation. So be kind and you're likely to diffuse things far quicker than if you react in the same manner. If the person is really being just a horrible jerk, they've got enough to deal with their life, and eventually they'll pay the price without your help. Everything has its own rewards. And our final clearing number 10, when you're about to talk, to fill the silence. Silence can be awkward, but there are a couple of reasons you shouldn't necessarily rush to fill it. The first is that some people just like to think before they speak and aren't as freaked out about the pauses as others are. So, when you jump in and fill the void, you're actually cutting off the thought process. Wait a while and make sure that they're not preparing to speak. Another reason is that if you're both uncomfortable with silence, sometimes you can learn a lot by letting the other person fill in. We often tend to overshare with others when we want to impress them or overcome some sort of awkwardness. We may think that it could be perceived as our fault for not holding up our end of the conversation. This tactic of not speaking when there's silence is particularly useful when conducting interviews, during meetings, or even on sales calls. Many a sale had been lost because the salesperson just did not know when to keep quiet. Some people actually like the periods of solace and silence in a conversation. Allow for extended periods of silence and just bask in the benefit of being with another person. When you're talking, you're not listening, and listening is the most important thing that you can do. Always remember, you cannot learn when your mouth is open. We come to the end of the trail today, so I will leave you with 4 proverbs that deal with talking too much. First is Proverbs 10:19. Too much talk leads to sin. Be sensible and keep your mouth shut. Next, Proverbs 17:27. A truly wise person uses few words. A person with understanding is even-tempered. Proverbs 17:28. Even fools are thought wise when they keep silent. With their mouth shut, they seem intelligent. And finally, Proverbs 21:23. Watch your tongue and keep your mouth shut, and you will stay out of trouble. Please join our camp tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. Tomorrow we will begin a series of 7 principles for living life. Well, that will finish our podcast for today. If you've missed any of the previous podcasts, please check out Wisdom Trek on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, YouTube, or at wisdom-trek.com. If you enjoy our daily doses of wisdom, these little nuggets we consume each day, I encourage you to take the time to invest in yourself in these 3 ways. Invest with your time in improving Wisdom Trek by leaving your name, email address, and a comment on our website so that we can provide you with the wisdom and insights that best fit your needs. Number 2, invest in yourself by listening to your 7 minutes of wisdom through the Wisdom Trek podcast each day. And the best way to do this is to subscribe at iTunes or Stitcher and have it downloaded to you automatically. And third, invest in the lives of others by sharing with your family and friends, in person or online, to journey with us on our Wisdom Trek. And if you haven't done so already, please leave us a rating at iTunes or Stitcher so that we'll gain more exposure for others to join us on our Wisdom Trek. The journal for this podcast can be found at wisdom-trek.com, where we also have pictures, tweetable quotes, wisdom nuggets, and free resources. Thank you for allowing me to be your guide, mentor, but most importantly, your friend, as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal each day. As we take this trek together, let us always live abundantly or fully, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. This is Guthrie Chamberlain reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you tomorrow.